3, 2, 1.
Asha!
I'm here. Whew, just 1 second. Let me catch my breath.
So I look up at the stars to guide me and throw caution to every warning sign.
Wish. After 100 years of not just the Walt Disney Company, but also a century of Disney animation, it has all come to this. An original animated feature that is also a tribute to the studio's legendary legacy of storytelling, animation, and cinema. It's true that their centennial was not off to a good start, especially when some of their more recent animated additions didn't do so well and have often been overshadowed by their competition. However, as time moved forward throughout 2023, their animation edition was gradually winning back some popularity. Almost as if they made a wish during their lowest point, and that magic was slowly coming true. Pixar's Elemental became the most unexpected hit of the summer by going from the studio's weakest opening since the first Toy Story to Disney's first animated box office success since Frozen 2, and their animated short, Once Upon a Studio, was not only the biggest cartoon crossover yet, with 543 characters coming together for one unforgettable photo, but also a beloved short by millions of fans that honored Disney's Big 100. It shows that things are getting happily better for them, and if that momentum continues, then this could mean that we are in for something truly magical. That Disney's 100th anniversary will give us a beautiful finale. No wonder this became one of my most anticipated films since they first announced it. So now that we're celebrating the centennial in Rosas, is this everything we ever wished for? Or should we be careful what we wished for? Let's find out. The story. What better subject for a Disney movie to have than to be all about wishes? And the movie takes every moment it can to present its own definition of a wish. Not just the fact that they are our heart's desire, but how they are also a part of our identity and give our lives meaning to fulfill that. And in the case of the movie, wishes also set the world building of Rosas, with how they are greatly valued to the characters, and the ways they are handled both for good and bad. This is why I feel like the story delivers a great first impression by establishing all of its unique concepts and the role that wishes play to both the characters and the narrative. It knows how to capture the audience's attention with its main theme, and use that as the substance that helps the viewer reflect upon their own wish and why it's important to them.
All you have to do is give your wish to me.
However, the actual story doesn't show up until Star enters the scene, and this is where the filmmaker's intentions with the picture is in full bloom. As I previously stated, Wish is both its own original animated feature and a celebration of Disney's 100th anniversary. And the way they wanted to achieve the latter is by having the storytelling be a throwback to the studio's classic features, to have the story feel like a heartfelt fairy tale. I completely understand why they wanted to try this out, and I'll give it to them that they managed to capture that classic feeling. But the bad news is that it's also the movie's biggest setback. As beloved as Disney's older films are, their stories are not known for their complexities or offer a lot of unexpected twists and turns. They're aimed for audiences of all ages, where even the youngest ones could easily follow the narrative by being as simple and straightforward as it can be. And in the case of Wish, once Asha and Star establish their mission to free the wishes from the control of King Magnifico, the plot doesn't leave much to the imagination.
We have to free the wishes and return them to the people. I have a plan.
That's when the movie changed its priority from telling its own story to being a Disney film and sprinkle in little Easter eggs of the studio's legacy across the whole feature. Again, I get why they did this, and as a Disney fan, I did have fun spotting all the references. But that new focus unfortunately conflicts with itself, where Wish is unsure if it wants to be either its own movie or a celebration of Disney's Big 100. And as it struggles to find that balance, the story is left as an afterthought, which is why the outcomes and some of the character arcs are too easy to guess and often end up being regular tropes, and the tone is unpolished, where it sometimes feels like what people think a stereotypical Disney movie is. along with an ending that can feel a little too good to be true. Like all the problems were solved in one big move from everyone.
There is a traitor amongst us. Find Asha.
On the other hand, I wouldn't consider the story to be a lost cause. There are a few elements that does save the plot from being completely tiresome. Similar to classic Disney, it does make up for what the narrative lacks with the charm of the characters and how it presents the adventure in a way that can be exciting with the perils that Asha has to face, and the personalities are enjoyable enough to see them fight to get their wishes back. I'll admit that it is unfortunate that the story is not in strong shape due to its nostalgia for classic Disney being its own problem. But there is a great movie to be found here, and some of that is present where it may not have fully made the picture amazing, but it can sometimes be engaging. The animation. After seeing other studios establish a new standard to mainstream computer animation with a strong stylized look, it was only a matter of time that Disney comes in with their own take on CG with an artistic twist. By staying true to honoring Disney's legacy, the animation team developed an overall watercolor design. A look that is meant to convey the artistry made in their concept arts throughout the decades. As a result, it gives the movie a beautiful look and was able to capture that theme of a classic Disney fairy tale. Maybe it's not the best stylized animation I've seen, but the work that was put into it is admirable. There is a good amount of the usual modern Disney animation style featured in this with the characters, as it is still one of their computer animated features, and those parts are still very well done. The design stayed true to their signature look while presenting a wider variety of different looking people to make everyone uniquely identifiable. The character animation is very expressive and really make the most of showcasing the personalities to be more playful and make the emotions more impactful, and the choreography of the musical numbers do aid to make the moments more engaging.
You can turn all your wanting to wishing, no one ifs and no wonders.
But when you put the new watercolor style onto them, the one criticism I do have is how it feels like there is a layer that was removed instead of added on. It does make it look a little odd that there doesn't seem to be any textures included. Yet some of the effects, like the lighting, still reflect on them the same way regular CG characters would. It makes it feel more like the team may have skipped a step to finish the animation. However, I do consider that flaw to be minor, and it doesn't take away the great work that the animators already put onto the cast.
To have something more for us than this.
On the flip side, there are some things that the style not only enhances the picture, but they make them some of the best that Disney created in recent years. While the look may have its quirks on the characters, it does help to make the colors more noticeable, not only using it to help define the personalities, but also make the magical elements more vibrant compared to the rest of the world. They also play a part in making the effects stand out and even look 2D to show how they have some of that old Disney magic. Not to mention how it makes Star look unique as the silent character that the animators make the most with their expressions and play around with their red yarn.
You kind of look like a star.
But what I consider to be the best visual component of Wish is the backgrounds. This is where the watercolor style is displayed the strongest and present Rosas like a medieval kingdom where they proudly show off all the details to give the place its own distinct look. It's an element that pays homage to the watercolor backgrounds done in Disney's first features to emphasize the fairy tale theme of the story. The same can also be said in the forest where they are reminiscent to the work done by Ivan Earle for Sleeping Beauty.
I wish.
And throw caution to every warning sign.
Maybe I wouldn't call this the best take on stylized CG, but that doesn't change how the animation of Wish is still wonderful, and how it does the best job at combining old Disney with the new. The characters. With this new feature that is dedicated to the history of Disney comes a new cast of characters, where they hope that their contribution will put them among the ranks as some of the most iconic figures in animation. Is the cast able to become the next greatest stars of Disney? Honestly, I wouldn't go that far, but they are fine as is. When it comes to each of the characters, their quality is around the same level where they can be fun to watch and are responsible for delivering the heart of the picture, but they also have some flaws where they can be either one-dimensional or their roles are just cliches that make the feature less original. First off, in the Kingdom of Rosas is Asha, a girl who shows a lot of love for the people, and especially her family like her mother and her grandfather Sabino, whom like Disney just turned 100. She is the first to realize that big problem with the king controlling all the wishes, since that also means that he's keeping part of the public's identity from them, and pursues to do everything she can to right that wrong, not just for those she's close to, but by everyone affected by his ruling so that they can be truly themselves again. Asha is a well-built character who can provide some strong emotional moments and present why wishes are so important, along with a solid performance by Ariana DeBose. But I will admit that the movie does make her a little too eccentric at times. I know she's supposed to be very passionate, but there are moments where she tries harder to convey that than she debatably should.
Who would dare threaten you? I have no response to that.
And no Disney protagonist would be complete without their comical, non-human friends. One is Star, who is the Disney equivalent to the Lumas in the Super Mario games, who is the sentient star that wants to spread magic and is capable of granting wishes independently. The other is Valentino, Asha's pet goat who gained the ability to talk. They both play more the comic reliefs of the feature, and while Valentino's role isn't as significant as Star, who is the film's MacGuffin, I was surprised that their comedy is actually enjoyable and can supply some funny moments to add some extra fun to the scenes.
I'm talking. I am talking. Ha! Who knew my voice would be this low?
As for her human friends, they are the updated version of the Seven Dwarves, all with similar personalities that either help her in freeing the wishes or add their own piece of humor. But then there is King Magnifico, Disney's first straightforward villain since Mother Gothel from Tangled. After all these years, did we finally get a new bad guy that is worthy to be a part of the Disney villain roster? To be very honest, I'd say yes. Maybe not among the best villains, but he is a welcoming addition. Originally wanted to protect the people from outside harm, the way he rules Rosas may seem like a lovable king, but he's actually the gatekeeper of people's wishes, ruling the land like a dictator where he makes the decisions of who is worthy of making their dreams come true, giving him all the power to stay at the top. However, when he feels like his power is threatened by Asha's independent thinking or Star's presence, he grows more desperate to keep his crown and his control, even resorting to drastic measures to gain more power.
King Magnifico has the wishes in the castle. He'll never give them back.
Power.
While he can share a bit of the same over-the-top issue as Asha at times, and he is accompanied by the Queen, who is the disappointingly typical villain's assistant with a conscience, I like how he gets more manic and intimidating as the film progresses so that he increasingly embraced his villainy. On top of Chris Pine doing well to play around with the character and to express his urgency of staying in power.
My Saba is good. The people of Rosas are good. They deserve more than...
I decide what everyone deserves.
They may not be among the best characters ever written from Disney, but they do their jobs well to deliver some charm to the personalities and let their emotions be in charge of having the viewers laugh and feel for them. Just like how the classics used to do it. The songs. Well, if you're gonna make a traditional Disney animated feature, then you better make that thing a musical. Of course, that's what Wish did, and the songs are thankfully among the better parts of the picture. Created by Julia Michaels and Benjamin Rice, a big reason to what I think makes the soundtrack work is because I can hear how there was a lot of heart put into them to give each number a soul, to ensure that they not only work in the context of the feature, but that they can also work as their own single. At the same time, while they primarily fit in the musical theater category, some added a hint of modern flair by sneaking in some pop during the numbers, Again, keeping up with the theme of combining the old with the new. The beginning transitions to the first song, Welcome to Rosas, which goes into some acoustic salsa to establish the setting of Rosas.
You can turn all your wanting to wishing, no worries and no wonders.
Then it goes to At All Cost, a duet that also works as a love ballad where Asha and Magnifico discuss about their desire to protect the wishes.
I will protect you at all costs.
Then comes the feature song of the movie, This Wish, the song that carries the message of the film's definition of a wish. There is also a reprise that happens later in the film, but you'll have to hear that for yourself because that would be going into spoiler territory.
So I make this wish to have something more for us than this.
Then comes I'm a Star, where the animals sing a number that can be best described as the pop version of Colors of the Wind from Pocahontas, with how it talks about the connection between everyone and everything in the galaxy.
In the sky, in your front yard, in your heart and in your scars. If you really want to know just who you are,
You're a star!
Following that is the long-awaited villain song, This Is the Thanks I Get. I can hear how it can be good with highlighting Magnifico's narcissism and need for control, but personally, I don't really like how it's so upbeat. It takes away a lot of the sense of threat that it needed to be effective as a villain song.
Since the day you were born and the day that we met. And this is the thanks I get.
And finally, there's Knowing What We Know, where Asha and her friends set the plan to free the wishes.
it's us and the strength we found. It's too loud, knowing what we know now.
Yes, the songs have a nice catchy flow to them, and the singers are fantastic, but what I think is the secret to their power is how they serve a purpose to inspire. How most of them are motivating, as if to say that your wishes are worth coming true. So not only would you have these fun songs to listen to, but they have that extra substance to make you feel good along the way. I wouldn't say that these are my favorite Disney songs, since there are some that I don't think are as strong as others, but they all work together to give the movie a solid soundtrack that help musically define the importance of a wish. I'll be honest, I was shocked when I saw that the early reviews said that this was disappointing and unoriginal. Once I finally got the chance to watch the movie myself and see what they were talking about, I'll admit that it did not come out as the masterpiece that I was hoping for. But does that mean that this is bad and that Disney created a failure? Absolutely not! Wish may not be the grand spectacle for the studio's 100th anniversary, but it is still an enjoyable and enchanting feature that serves as a throwback to their classic era. I do agree that the nostalgic elements do hold the movie back from being great and render the story to be a bit weak, but with its strong and engaging theme of wishes, really nice stylized animation, charming characters, and inspiring songs, my feelings towards the film are similar to Pixar's Elemental that they released during the same year. They may not be as good as their respective studios' legendary standards, but they are still good on their own that deserve to have a following. While there may be a chance that it might not meet your full expectations, I still recommend to check this out. Disney fans will most likely have a great time with this and appreciate all the references, but for everyone else, I'd say it's at least worth giving it one chance so you could say that you did see it and then have your full opinion from there. And if you enjoyed hearing my opinion on Wish, then you can give this review a like and subscribe to my channel where you can find even more videos where I talk about Disney and animation. I know there was a lot to expect from a centennial celebration in the form of an original animated picture, but since this came out as just a good movie, it's honestly all I could wish for.